hey. Return of the cap. Once again, return of the cap. Oh my God. That a time I told you so. Yes, I did. Return of the cap. Teofimo Lopez never really wanted it with the names that he said he wanted it with. It's looking kind of bunk. Now the game wants to know, what is Boxing Ego talking about? And I'll tell you. Teofimo Lopez, he put this tweet that you see on the screen. In this tweet, he made a shocking revelation if you break it down. Teofimo Lopez says, after the Jermaine Ortiz horrific performance, if I am so easy to beat, make the calls early next week. I will be having lunch with Bob Arum, right, to talk about my next fight. Okay, nothing bad so far. I told him to plan. He said, I told him I plan to fight in Honduras in April or June and defend my titles. King stays king. Some of y'all didn't get it. He's having lunch with Bob Arum of Top Rank. I told him I plan on fighting in Honduras in April or June. Teofimo Lopez called out guys like Terence Crawford. How could you really want Crawford, but you expect him, a guy just beat Errol Spence, you're expecting him to fight in Honduras off of your last performance? That don't make no sense. That doesn't really make any sense, right? Furthermore, if you break down what he said a step further, I plan to defend my titles in Honduras. So, for whatever reason, Teofimo Lopez, when he was fighting Jermaine Ortiz, post-fight, we know who really won, and it was Jermaine Ortiz. Teofimo says he would fight Crawford at a catchweight. What? Like, there was never a point in time in the buildup where he really said that he needed a catchweight to fight Crawford, because it would have been a moot point, because we know Terence Crawford at age 36 or whatever is not moving back down to divisions he's already like been in, right? Teofimo Lopez has to know that. Like, fighters aren't going to jump down and wait for you, especially a two-time undisputed, accomplished guy like Terence Crawford. So by the way of Terence Crawford being stuck at 47 or higher, like, Crawford is talking about moving up multiple divisions to fight Canelo. So even if that is part of the game plan, if he thinks he can get the Canelo fight in May or September, then we know that's not really feasible. Not really feasible at all, that he would move down, which is the exact opposite direction of a Canelo Alvarez and Tim Tszyu, bigger fights that he says that he is willing to entertain. Plus, he's not fighting you in Honduras. Let's be clear. Makes absolutely no sense. So once again, Teofimo, he's pump faking. He's pump faking. You did all this stuff. You mentioned Crawford's name repeatedly. And then after your shaky performance with Jermaine Ortiz, you switched up. And now you're having lunch with Bob. And you want to defend your titles. And I think he only has one title, the WBO, so I don't know why he said it plural, but whatever. During your luncheon with Bob Arum, you said you already want to defend your title. Now, here's another thing. Because I don't shy away from the truth. Some of you might, and if that is the case, this is not the channel for you. It's up to you, though. If you like when people tell the truth and break it down and articulate and have a little fun with the boxing game, I'm your guy. If you like lies and a bunch of cap, return of the cap once again, then go somewhere else. Go to another YouTuber, because there's plenty of them. The other thing about Honduras that is almost a sure shot no for any big name, like Keyshawn Davis called out Teofimo. Shakur Stevenson says that Teofimo is easy work. Terence Crawford, fair play to him. He hasn't really entertained a Teo fight because he is a smaller man, but he's taking jabs at him and saying like, down the ladder you go, chump, or so. He said something to this effect. But another reason, let's talk about the Honduras thing. He said he's going to do a title defense in Honduras. Your last 3 fights, Jermaine Ortiz on Thursday, the numbers were terrible, non-comparable to any big star. There were terrible numbers. He did a little bit over 500,000, under 600,000 on ESPN, which has 70 million plus homes. And you're not cracking a million. You're not just under a million. You're not in the 800K range on ESPN, which is in many, many homes. I made a complete and separate video about that, detailing that aspect of it. So you need to watch it. I will put a card at the end of this video, and you go watch that video with Teofimo's numbers for more. I've already broken that down. So you fought Jermaine Ortiz, didn't think you won. The numbers were not good, right? Before that, you look great versus Josh Taylor, but I do think he was weight drained, but that's not your problem. And then you fought Sandor Martin. So what does the Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz fight have in common? Oh, that's right. People thought you lost those fights, both of them. So I love to put stuff into perspective. When it comes to perspective, I'm that guy. So when it comes to Teofimo and he talk about this Honduras stuff, why would Shakur Stevenson, somebody who's with Top Rank right now, Keyshawn Davis, or even Crawford or any big name fight you in Honduras when 2 of your last 3 fights are controversial and the judges are turning in crazy scorecards like the Steve Weisfeld 117-111 card, which we know absolutely Teo did not earn. Why would anyone, you're Honduran, why would anyone fight you with a name in Honduras when you've jobbed 2 people in your last 3 fights right here in America where you've been fighting? So then you represented, I think he represented Honduras in like some kind of junior Olympics or something. But anyway, that's his ethnicity. So at the end of the day, you're Honduran, you're prideful, and you want to fight out there. Who's going to go out there and fight you that is noteworthy? Like, what big name do you think is going to make the trek? Now, keep this in mind. There are a lot of great, humble warriors and guys that are road warriors in the sport of boxing. That's not the issue. However, you got to look at everything, full stop. You got to look at all the different parameters. It's not that guys won't be a road warrior, but a lot of guys will be a road warrior for the right type of fight, right? Like Kovalev will fight an Andre Ward, SOG Ward, on the West Coast. Andre Ward being from California. But if it's a lesser name and an unknown name or guy on bad performance, why would he make that exception? Like, you have to bring something. Either you're a champion, either you're the money man, the cash cow, or you're a fighter that is such an opportunity. Like, guys would fight Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was doing extremely well for himself in boxing. So yeah, you would have Alexander Povetkin fight in the UK and these different non-UK guys. Charles Martin, even though he was the champion, Joshua was a hot ticket seller in the UK, so he made more money fighting Joshua out there. But fast forward to the Teofimo, we know that's not the case because Teofimo Lopez only sold 6,000 tickets. 6,000 tickets. Get your tickets. Stop playing with me. Boom. You never know. Dan Rayfield, official attendance for Teofimo Lopez is 6,206 at Mandalay Bay. Boom. Now, I didn't see the actual commission report, so I don't know how many of those tickets were comped. But usually in any kind of event, there's going to be needs to comp some tickets for whatever various reason. So let me get this straight. Tio's having a luncheon with Bob Arum. You called out and this is the crazy. Tio brings this on himself. I want you guys to realize this. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm only being real. There's a lot of people, Karen behavior, I call it. People start these things, start a bunch of small fires, and then when the firemen come to extinguish them, that's the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I'm dousing the flames with the truth. That doesn't even make sense. Not in my world. So I'm going to keep doing it. And the numbers show. And my paycheck shows. So I'm going to keep doing it. Right? Here's the thing. Teofimo Lopez. You sold 6,000 tickets, basically. That's another reason. Why would you're not like this big draw cash cow? And again, Teofimo brings this on himself because of what he says. He says he's about to start getting $20 million minimums. Not my words. That's Teofimo's words, right? Remember, he was talking about Triller. It was around that time. He was like, oh, it's the Triller takeover. I'm the best. But here's another thing. Teofimo Lopez, he's doing interviews and, media scrums, and he's saying everybody's avoiding him. He's saying everybody's mentioning his name for clout. He said they're clout chasing. Specifically, Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis said that Teofimo asked politely, do not call me out after your fight. Keyshawn being rebellious and doing his own thing, he did just that and called him out and said he want that work. Teofimo's response, Teo said, these guys are just using my name for clout. What are you doing with Terence Crawford's name, a guy who's not in your division, he's in a higher division than you, and you're now talking about fighting in Honduras? How is that now not clout chasing? So when Keyshawn, who is with Top Rank, Terence Crawford had his own issue with Top Rank, and he left, and he hasn't looked back since. He's never fought on a Top Rank. Teofimo says, make the fight, don't use Top Rank as an excuse. So it's not an excuse. If Crawford wants to do business with Top Rank again, maybe he does. But if he doesn't, then he has his own reasons for not wanting to. But Keyshawn Davis is on the same label as you. Shakur Stevenson on the same label as you. And they talking like they want that smoke with you. And you just brush them off like, oh, they're just clout chasing. But then you're using Terence Crawford's name, a decorated champion who just beat Errol Spence, and you keep doing interviews with his name in your mouth, and now you're talking about running off and fighting in Honduras. Stop it. So who's really clout chasing? You guys let me know that in the comments section. It is not looking good for the boy Teofimo Lopez. Return of the Cop. Oh my God.